I'm looking at this thing. I think that's supposed to be down. I mean, it's supposed to be like that, right? Well, I gotta flip it.
Swap them.
Swap them. We gotta flip it. It's upside down. Damn. I feel like an idiot.
Well,
I feel like a loser.
Well, loser's a little far.
Yeah, loser's a little far.
Idiot, maybe. How about loser?
Damn, I got all excited because stuff fit. Now we gotta swap it. Swap them. Wolftick Nation, thank you guys for tuning into once again another Wolftick Videos episode, and we are glad you are here today. Yeah, why are we glad they're here today? What are we working on?
I'm a little bit worried why we're glad.
Why are we glad they're here?
Oh, we're finally getting to the XR Pro.
We're finally getting to the XR Pro. We've got a special episode for you guys today. This video is not only going to be the install on the Himalo Drift 32 forks. Now you guys have
better
seen
luck on that bike than you do the
yes, you guys seen when I did the real-time review with these forks on the tap. They've only been ran one time, you know, and that was down the cat's meow. So we're going to be putting that on the Mongoose XR Pro today, and we are also going to be putting this AOY-36RC DNM rear shock on here. We've got a negative air chamber, positive air chamber, lockout, and we're not full suspension people, so we've only done one air rear shock before, and this thing here apparently some people like it, some people don't. We're going to see how we're going to do, and also how it's going to do. We're going to be installing a Jessica headset.
Sorry, Jayson.
We love our Jessicas around here. We know you don't. Now,
speak for yourself.
When we get done doing these installs on this episode, we're going to take you guys out to, I think we're going to go to Mount Nebo here in a little bit, and we're going to do a real-time review on the rear shock and how everything feels. Yes. We're going to change it up a little bit.
I'm a little excited now because I'm taking the Aoki.
Yeah, you're going to take the e-bike. He's in love with it.
Dude, I'm not the only one finding it out of Travis's hands was, you know.
Yeah, he was not having it. But anyway, that's the problem. You take an e-bike around people, you know, and they fall in love with it and they want to take it from you. But anyway, he's going to be riding the e-bike. I'm going to be riding the XR Pro. And we're going to be doing the real-time review and telling you guys how the bike feels overall. Hopefully we slack this sucker out a little bit. And one of these days when we do the full upgrade series on it, I
got excited. I thought you wanted me to slap you, sucker. I was on board for that.
Hopefully when we slack this sucker out a little bit, it'll be ready for some downhill trails. But first we've got to definitely give it some hydraulic brakes and maybe some tires. But this is going to be one of the stages. So you guys just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, let's check in. Just got everything stripped off the bike, got the front fork and all that taken off, obviously. And we're about to change this headset, but I know a lot of the questions already were going to be, hey, a lot of the budget fork or budget bikes that we work on, especially Schwinn's, the crown race is like attached and welded. It's all one piece to the steer tube on the fork. Now this fork here, it's the SR Suntour XCT28. Not a bad fork, but I wanted to show everybody, if you can see that crown race, if you are going to be replacing this bike with, say, an air fork and you don't really have the money, or you just don't have, the confidence, or you feel that you don't really have the proper tools to change out your headset, you don't have to. As long as you've got a flathead and a hammer, it looks like you can take that crown race off and put it on your new fork. Yeah, you can see right there we already got the space, so you can definitely take that off and put it on your new fork. So that's nice.
You don't want to tear up your fork though, like you're doing.
Yeah, don't tear your fork up. The headset on that bike, I'm kind of surprised. It's actually decent quality. I've said it before, it's a VP, but it's got some, the bearings are really packed nice and tight on there. There's grease.
It's so much better than what a lot of them
Yeah, and it actually feels good, and there's some weight to it. It is steel, and the dust cap is actually, it's rubber. What I'm going to do, instead of just tossing that to the side and putting it in a box, I'm actually going to put some zip ties through there and save this, just in case we have another 34 to 34. Now, I'm hoping. So let's go ahead and jump to the headset that we're going to install, and we're going to be using some famous budget tools.
Wait, we don't have a whole bunch of nice part tools and all that stuff?
No, we don't.
Well, where's Carson when you need him?
I don't know. Carson, this is all you need right here. So what we're going to do, we're going to pop this sucker out of here, and I'm hoping, I've got my caliper tool over there. I'm wanting to see if this is a 34 to 34. 34.
Oh, right on your head.
Right on the head. All right, so this guy here, internal diameter, is 33.81. So that's a 34 millimeter. Good. So we're golden on the Jessica headset install. We're golden.
Jayson.
That's a piece of conduit.
That'd be conduit.
Conduit. Now, this is basically a piece of thread, all thread, with some washers on there. I know we've got some fans of this, and people have definitely been doing it. Some people say that you could put your cups in the freezer. You know?
Yeah, why haven't we tried that?
I don't know.
Maybe we should try that on the next one.
There's no room in the freezer.
There's room for that.
Okay, so good. It's a snug fit already. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Top one's loose.
Top one's not snug.
Top one is not snug.
Oh, don't do that.
I didn't mean to do that. Alright, so cancel that idea. There's no friction on there, so there's no need in pressing it in. The bottom one just slipped in. So what we're going to do is we're going to get some
brake parts cleaner.
Yeah, brake parts cleaner. We're going to clean that grease off of there. And then I'm just going to wrap some electrical tape around it. Okay, that's done. Let's get the fork installed, and then we're going to jump to the rear shock. Alright, so the install went pretty well, and you guys can hear that. That is from the rear shock, which we're going to change out here shortly. Now, the standover height is definitely a little more compromised now because it's a 160 millimeter travel fork up front, and I think the stanchion's like another 10 or 15 millimeters longer, so it's definitely raising the front of this up. So let's get the rest of this tightened up. And then what we'll do, guys, is we'll jump over to the rear shock and start getting that sucker installed. I'm looking forward to that. And then we'll give you guys a good look at the bike. And then we're going to go out to the trails, and we're going to real-time review this thing. Are we going to weigh this bike, too?
Yeah, we're going to have to weigh it after we get done with this.
Yeah, we're going to have to weigh it, too. All right, guys, take a little look-see-loo at the DNM rear shock. Now, this is the AOY-36RC. And we paid how much?
$100.
So $100 on this thing. Now we have had a Suntour Radon Low or something like that. We put it on a Project Tiramisu over there, the Temesur, and it didn't have the negative air chamber. Now I've been reading up on this thing. Apparently it's not supposed to have any kind of pop. Like it's not supposed to pop out whenever you get air and you start to leave the ground, the rear of the bike. It's supposed to actually control the dampening pretty well and just keep it from doing that. We've also got the main air chamber up here, and something that's really cool about the booklet that this thing came with is it's got the entire air chart on what exactly you should be running on this thing. Now we do have a compression adjuster, and this is basically to keep the compression going or to lock it out. Now one thing, you got like a little positive and negative on there if you can see it. One thing I'm not too jazzed about, I think this is lockout, and I think that opens it up, but it makes contact with that air valve up there. Kind of hear that? I don't like that very much. Now, another cool thing that I didn't realize this thing's got is a rebound adjuster knob. Now, you can see right there, we'll focus. It says fast or slow up on that little diagram up there. And then there's the switch for it right there. So check that out. Don't know very much about these things. Hell, I don't even know which way we're going to mount this sucker. But it feels pretty light. Let's go ahead and get the old one off of the XR Pro, the one that came with it. And we're going to do a little weigh off, and then what we'll do is we'll start installing this sucker. And hopefully everything fits. All right, let's do this.
Weight test. Let's do this.
Stock first. 1.06
1.06 pounds.
All right, now the DNM, 0.63. All right, so a little bit of weight difference in the weight department. You can definitely feel a big difference. Now, one thing I'm worried about a little bit is the DNM came with those spacers like we talked about, right? Now, like that's the one that goes on the inside of the plastic, right? Like you get the little grommet, you go around the outside there. Something I'm worried about is this isn't as long as the one that's on the stock. You see that? Mm-hmm. You know, we're about I don't know, a little over a quarter of an inch there. So I'm gonna get something to see if I can pull these off, and it also has the little metal spacer dilly in there. We're gonna call it the spacer dilly. I'm curious if this will fit inside the DNM one. Okay, let's see here. Can I wedge effect that? Oh, there we go. Look at that. Do a little wedge effect. All right. Bam. Oh, we're in business. We are in business, people. Look at that. Let's see if this sucker will fit. This is going to be awesome. Come on. Get in the hole. Don't you just want to go home? Come on. Oh, I was about to whip out the spit.
Whoa.
I was that damn close to it.
Whoa.
Jeez. Talk about getting something lined up. Yeah, we're going to play with this thing a little bit, guys, and then we're going to weigh this bike, and then we're going to take it out to the trails. Mount Nebo, here we come. Let's look how good this bike looks. I mean, damn, it looks so good. All right, why don't you test out the air?
Here, hold my beer. It doesn't seem to be springing back up. Is it? It don't feel springy.
Okay, let me turn this up here. This is the let your weight off of it.
My weight's off.
All right, so it's as slow as it'll go. Now this is in the middle somewhere, I think.
Okay.
All right, go ahead. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, big difference. I can feel the difference.
Yeah. All right. Try that lockout. It looks like it's accessible. Very accessible. Bam. Switch it over. Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Locked out.
It's locked.
All right. Unlock it. All right. Now, dude, look at that. Go ahead. That's cool.
Well, let's hurry up and weigh this so I can get on that bike and we hit the trails.
All right. Well, it's 38 something. I'll put it up on the screen so you guys can all see how much weight we've lost. She's still a heavy girl. All right. 36.78 pounds.
Okay, so we've lost a couple pounds.
Yeah, a couple pounds. It looks way in the hell cooler. Now remember, we still got a whole bunch of different upgrades to do to this bike, and it's going to be a fun project, but let's not worry about all that. Let's worry about Mount Nebo and this bike. Let's go out to the trails. Let's do a little real-time review and see how we like it, shall we?
Let's do that.
And we're off. The Wolfman behind me. Now the DNM, we've messed with the air adjustments a little bit since being in the shop. I think the bottom air chamber we've got set at like 50, I think it is. And had to be a little sketchy on that because well, had to be really paying attention on that, I should say, is because as soon as you took that shock pump off, it would let a lot of air out. I'm not used to letting that much air out. So it kind of had to be a quick unscrew it job. But buddy, let me tell you what, the shock right now, I'm putting all my weight on the rear end, and this thing is like riding a Cadillac, absolute Cadillac. I mean, I set the sag to, it recommended 15 to 25%, and I got on it, and I don't know, with the XR Pro, it used a lot of the old coil, the stock one, so I don't want to say like it was hard to set the sag. I'm going to say that just because it seemed like with a cheaper coil rear shock on it, I was using a lot more of it than I'm using this thing. Like, I'm just not used to the air stuff yet. So to set the sag completely, I kind of had to bounce on it a little bit. And then when I didn't bounce on it, I just sat on it, it would hardly move. So I hope we got the air pressure set right. But it's about 25% when I give it a little bump. People recommended the DNM, and they also recommended the Sun Tour. And so far, it's just a world of difference. I don't know about any other rear shocks out there, so if there's anybody that is recommending a new rear shock, let me know in the comments. Let us know, and it might be, you know, if it's budget, it might be something that we'll have to get our hands on. I don't know if X Fusion, I mean, we love their forks. I don't know if X Fusion makes rear shocks. So what was nice, if you guys remember on the real-time review of the XR Pro, I was talking and saying, man, this bike feels like I'm up on a skyscraper. Like, it feels like you're way up there, and the cockpit feels really small, and I could really start to understand why they put that massive zoom stem up front. And now, with the 160 up front and the DNM in the rear, what's nice is it doesn't feel like I'm above the ground so much, like I'm not sitting way atop a bike. It feels like I can actually handle this bike a little bit easier. And it's a 29er, and I love that about it. It used to be just almost oversized for me. It still felt comfortable, but right now, man, it's really on. Wow. One thing I like most about the full suspension, when you can actually feel that rear moving, and I had it with the tiramisu, and nicely enough, I had it with the ledge because the geometry was so nice. I was being able to actually use that momentum off of like a little pump section. On hardtails, you got to stand up and really put your butt back, and on this thing here, you just got to kind of set down a little hard, and you're just moving along, and that rear shock is doing all the work. All right, we're gonna have to go back and hit that. All right, once you guys look at the compression ring down here, we've probably got, I don't know, about 80% of it used up. I'm gonna bring this all the way up here. Now the rebound is still about in the middle, maybe a little closer to 75%. And we're gonna see on this little feature how much travel we get out of it, and hopefully it's adjusted right with 110 pounds of pressure in it, and we don't bottom it out completely. All right, is the rear shock, is it okay to bottom it out sometimes? I don't know, let's try it. Wow, was that such a smooth landing?
So let's look at it. Now, it looks like we still didn't use up all the treble. I think we might still have a little bit to go there. So cool, success. 110 up on the top. Seems to be right. I got some pretty good air there. And there was no pop or any kind of feeling up towards the top, like any explosiveness. I think it really smoothed that out, that whole transition there. But nice, and the landing was just, I mean, plush as could be. What I love about that bottom air chamber is on stuff like that, like I still have to get used to the jumping as far as the preload, you know what I mean? The landing's easy, you don't even have to worry about the landing at all. The preload, I'm getting caught up between using the forks preload and not really feeling how the rear should be. I'm so used to a hardtail, it kind of feels like I'm fighting against myself. So I'm gonna have to really get used to jumping with a full suspension that actually works both front and rear. Like I said earlier, this is the first bike that we have upgraded the front fork and the rear shock. And that's just stage one. We still got a bunch to do this bike, but it's such a blast. But it's going to take some learning. You know, it's going to be definitely a learning curve. But man, the DNM, $100. Does it get any better than a $100 air shock? That's what I'm wondering. Like, is it worth the extra $100 or $200 to get something that's going to be better than this? I'm not sure if it gets better than that. I mean, I don't know. I'm extremely happy with the DNM.
For the money.
For the money. I mean, you know, until we try some other... Yeah, who knows? Until we try some other budget rear shocks. This thing right here, the adjustments are there. The lockout is nice. There's only one complaint with the lockout, and that's it. It interferes with the top valve up there, or the top stem, and I don't like that, right? It could be cleaner, but as far as reaching down to hit the lockout and unlock, it's not an issue at all. The adjustment with the rebound up there, I'm really happy with that. Like, we can slow it down to snail's pace or speed it up like a rabbit. And what I enjoy about that the most is the rabbit setting, you know, the faster of the two. It definitely doesn't give you that pogo effect, and that bottom air chamber, I think, is the reason for that. Just that dampening, everything saves you, and it's so smooth. You're gliding over everything. Guys, that was another Wolftig Videos episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Appreciate you watching all the way through. If you watch the install and the real-time review on this DNM, $100. You guys can look down the affiliate links below if you want to get your hands on that, or maybe the Himalo fork, and also that Jessica headset, and it's nice and tied up there.
Sorry, Jayson.
Sorry, Jayson. It's nice and tight up there. But guys, we will see you on the next one. Please think about buying us some coffee if you want to kind of support the channel a little bit. And man, give us a like and subscribe. Turn that notification bell on. And we will see you guys on Friday. We got a good episode coming up, so don't you guys miss it.